Greetings and welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. It is early on a Sunday morning. It's so early that I'm still working on coffee instead of switching to bourbon. So, why am I up so early? It's because I'm excited. Today, we are going to make something fantastic. We are going to make tacos Dorados. Now, what the heck is that? Well, it translates into golden taco, and it's basically what in Mexico they call a crispy taco. Now, you may have also heard them called Tostitos.
Incorrect.
But that is, they're close. It has a meat filling, it has a tortilla wrapped around it, and it's deep fried. But basically, it's the shape. Tacos Dorados looks like your typical taco, a tortilla folded in half, where taquitos
better
are rolled into a tube. All right, so we need to get the filling done. That's why I'm up so early. Right now, my Yoder YS 640S pellet grill is preheating to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a Boston butt roast here, and I have a chuck roast here, and we're gonna get those seasoned up before we chuck them on the grill. Nice and simple seasonings we're applying to this. First of all, we're gonna get them both covered with some salt and pepper. Then some of Cattleman Grill's Mexicano. Love this stuff. And then some of Spiceology's Achote seasoning. I'm gonna let that tack up, then I'm gonna flip them, get the other sides done, then it's into the smoker. So we'll see you when it's time for the next step. Well, our roasts have hit 165 degrees. You know, some people wonder, why is that a magic number? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, when the internal temperature hits 165, that means that the outer surface of the meat is at least 212 degrees Fahrenheit. What happens then? Well, that's the temperature at which water boils at sea level. So steam is going to start escaping from that skin. So that's going out. Smoke flavor is not going to go back in. Number two, that's also where the stall happens, because as that water comes out of the meat in the form of steam, it's going to cool down the rest of the meat, not really make the temperature dip, but just not allow it to rise. And that's not going to happen until all that surface water has boiled off and the temperature of that outer crust is greater than 212. So that's why that's typically the temperature that people remove it and wrap it and move to a braising process. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We'll get these off the smoker into disposable aluminum pans. And then we'll run inside and do a few steps. We'll see you back inside. Back inside, let's get these ready for the braising phase. First thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of liquid to each one of them, and that's going to be 1/2 of a 12-ounce Modelo's beer. Next, we will put a 1/2 stick of butter on top of each one. Now we'll get these tightly wrapped with foil. As I'm doing that, I'll let you know that I have bumped the temperature up on the smoker to 300 degrees. And the whole reason I'm doing this, I think I started so early, I didn't remember what I wanted to talk about. There is a local barbecue joint here in the Valley of the Sun called Eric's Family BBQ. And they make the most incredible tacos Dorados I have ever had. So that's what I'm trying to recreate here. They basically take their leftover meat from the night before and they finally chop it. And that is their filling for their tacos Dorados. And they're freaking divine. So, I don't want pulled pork and pulled beef like we typically do. I want it chopped into little tiny cubes that's going to fit perfectly when you take a bite of that taco instead of having those strings in there. Instead of taking these to the magic pulling temperature of 200 to 205, we're going to pull these off the smoker once they hit about 190 degrees. Now, at this point, they have been smoking for about 3.5 hours. Again, I started out with about a 4-pound chuck roast and a 5.5-pound pork butt. I expect this to take about an hour to an hour and a half to take them from the 165 they're at now up to 190 degrees. So once they hit that, I'm going to bring them back inside and I'm going to let them cool down so I can chop those up without burning my sensitive paws. So we'll see you when it's time to do that. Alrighty, so my back is killing me. The director is stepping in to cut this stuff up into little bite-sized chunks. I assume that you've already had a bite or six. And how'd we do?
Very good.
Okay. Wait till we get it in the tacos. All right, since she's such a woman of many words, what she's doing is cutting this into bite-sized little cubes that we can mix up with the pork and some onions. That's going to be the fillings for the tacos. So we'll see ya when it's time to get them in the fryer. See you then. All right, we got the outdoor fryer all heated up. I'm still learning temperature control on this. This is the first time that I've done a shallow fry with this thing. So let's get these tacos made. And the very first one I pull out is a broken tortilla, of course. You know what though, we'll give it a try. So, I have equal parts of the beef and the pork mixed together, along with some diced sweet onion. So we'll put that in our taco. We'll fold it over. We'll find our long tongs and put this in the oil and see what happens. Now, I don't know if I'm going to need to put toothpicks in these or not yet. Hopefully, I can get them done like this. So I ended up holding the taco shut for about 20 seconds. It seems to be keeping its shape right now. Since that first one seems to be working well for us, we'll put a second one in and see what happens. What could go wrong? After about 90 seconds, I've given the first taco a flip. You know, I had meant to put some Cholula chipotle cremosa and some cilantro lime cremosa on them, but I totally forgot. We'll get that on the next one. All right, so far, it looks like a success. I gotta figure out how to exactly dial the temperature in for my burners here. Of course, yours are going to be different, but I'm gonna continue to fry these up. Then we will get some judgment here soon and find out how they are. So we'll see you then. All right, here we go. The tacos are done, and the director is gonna give us some judgment. I heard one hell of a crunch.
Very crispy, very flavorful. I like the taste.
All right, so you've had Eric's Family BBQ tacos before, what I'm trying to recreate. Did I get close?
You got close, yeah?
All right, hey, there we go. So tacos Dorados, golden tacos. You need to give this a try. Thank you so much for joining us today, and until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas.